Ooh, title sequence. I've never had one of these before. Ooh.
Hmm. Oh. Oh, hey. This thing on? Huh. Well, hello there. I'm Steve Saunders, and I own Black Oak Games, and I do a bunch of other crap. And it's been a while since I've done a video, so I thought maybe perhaps I could do one of these video things. Make it really short. And I wanted to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is Fiend Folio. So anyway, I was just reading about it a little bit just to refresh my memory. As you can see, like, I'm not in my office, but that's because lately my office has been working from the couch or from bed because I blew my motherboard and I've just been too lazy to fix it. But I really need to because I need to go back to video gaming. Instead, I got a new laptop, and I've been using that to work on. So anyway, let's just turn it around, see, office ergonomics or something like that, or feng shui. Feng shui? Feng shui? No, it doesn't really matter. So anyway, what I'm going to talk about now is Fiend Folio. So back when I was a little kid, and I got into I got into Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games right around my youngest son's age. I was 8 years old. It was the summer of 1984, and my friend Logan and I went on a trip to the North Sea with his parents because my parents wanted to go to Monaco, or Monaco, however you want to say it, and they didn't want me along with them. So Logan asked me if I'd ever played Dungeons and Dragons. I said no, and the rest is history. I started off with a Greek ninja, and this is, I believe, a year before Oriental Adventures. So when it came to buying my own books for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, because I figured go big or go home, why start with basic D&D, which I didn't even know existed. So I kind of wondered why it was called Advanced D&D. You get the player's guide, you get the DM's guide. I'll do a thing about them in the future, maybe. Who knows with me. Then you get the monster manual, and the monster manual too came out about that time. I remember it because I was borrowing it from Logan, and the monster manual, of course. And the other item that was out that I didn't know about was Fiend Folio. So Fiend Folio came out in 1981, I think, if I remember correctly. Let me see here. 1981, right. So it's 128 pages, hardback, from TSR, just like the rest of the Dungeons & Dragons stuff at the time. And upon seeing it, I was like, wow, this tome contains alphabetical listings of monsters designed for use with the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons system. Game system. Each creature is described and most are illustrated for easy identification. And of course they have a beer belang in here, which I don't even think anybody ever uses a beer belang. Is it a bear? It's got some kind of hibernation, and I'm just too not caring about right now. You think I would have memorized the back of the book after all these years. So my intention was to buy all the D&D books, and my parents were very supportive of this. Unfortunately, I couldn't because there was no monster manual in stock at the BX on the NATO base where we went. Where we went to occasionally. Cause my dad being NATO Air Force or NATO and U.S. Air Force. On the NATO base, or right outside, there was a British exchange, and that's where I got into stuff like 2000 AD, and in fact, I actually use Glimmer Rats as my mousepad because I can't stand using wireless mice. So I've got like a mousepad on my machine here, and I've got my wired mouse hooked up to that. So anyway, and at that particular exchange, there was always some D&D stuff there. I hadn't really gotten a White Dwarf quite yet, but I read Dragon Magazine by that point. We're talking early 1984. And so at the BX though, they carried D&D stuff, and they didn't have the monster manual in stock that I wanted to buy. I believe it was a post-Christmas present for myself, but they did have a copy of Fiend Folio, and I was absolutely enamored by it when I saw it the first time. It's got the blue cover. It didn't look like the rest of the stuff, and apparently, according to the Wikipedia article, that's because they decided to let it go out of print, so they didn't give a single shit about what it looked like. This excellent tome, though, became my go-to book for all kinds of stuff. So these monsters are from the Fiend Factory, which ran in White Dwarf back in the old days. I think they started accumulating stuff in like 1979. It turned 4 that year, to give you an idea. And that's a Grell. Not to be confused with Mike Grell, who's an amazing comic book artist, but a Grell. Also, I believe Mike Grell was responsible for some art in World of Cinnabar. We'll have to go over that sometime. Like, actually go through a sit-down, run through a Cinnabar. Because I actually have a hard copy of World of Cinnabar, and some of you gamer nerds are going, yeah. So anyway, let's see here. But there is one particular creature that really stood out for everybody. I could be wrong about that. No, I think I am wrong. There's like the mean lock, like I wonder where they got the idea for the amble for Warhammer 40K, right? So because the mean lock looks kind of like an amble, sort of like a spider-like creature. Oh, the Githyanki and these guys. These guys are all part of, they become part of the D&D lore. There's so much in here, and my sons love going through this, especially my youngest. He loves these really like yellow musk creeper and a yellow musk zombie, plant zombies, right? Like this is all really early 80s stuff that you can really get into. The Slad, you know, Retrievers, a Revenant, which I have had a lifelong obsession with the Revenant, and it just means like an animated corpse, but these are ones that died a violent death. It's a form of undead. I love the Revenant. I've been into the word Revenant ever since. A lot of my friends didn't even know what a Revenant was. Me being the undead nerd I am, I would always explain to them what a Revenant is. And in fact, R is for Regimental. Revenant is a Black Goat Games product that I'm putting out very soon. I just need to actually touch it up and get it off the Riley or something, so you can take a look at it, make sure I didn't fuck up anywhere. And maybe you guys can, you know, play around with that. Until then, and you got some great art in here. Some of the art's not that hot, but this stuff really captured my imagination as a young, impressionable, freshly 9-year-old. And you know, I don't really see 9-year-olds these days getting into this stuff too much. My sons read this, but they don't really play. They rather play Ravenloft, the board game, as opposed to, like I said, right over there, which is, you know, and do like D&D, but you know, they're of a generation of awesome video games that D&D started. Like, why would you want to play a post-apocalyptic tabletop game with a bunch of other nerds when you can play Fallout, right? I mean, actually, that sounds awesome. We should totally do a Gamma World group soon. But my point is that things have changed quite a bit since the early 80s. So anyway, they let this go out of print, TSR, and of course we all know what happened with White Dwarf. That store and magazine turned into Games Workshop. Well, actually, sorry, it was the Games Workshop store, and then the magazine and the store Games Workshop turned into the Games Workshop we know that makes Warhammer. So by the mid-'80s, by the time they let this go out of print, the Warhammer Fantasy Battle was on the market, and then '86, my favorite game, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, came out, and then 1987, Warhammer 40,000, which is what made Games Workshop their shitloads of money. That's and the rest is history. And then the 90s happened, and they changed everything, and now I'm just some old hammer guy. So nowadays, how could you use Fiend Folio? Now these are all stat blocks, which still can be used with most D&D rules, whether you're using 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 3.5, Pathfinder, 4th edition, maybe, I'm not really that familiar with 4th edition, and 5th edition, which is amazing, by the way. I really like 5th edition, but I keep going back to 1st and 2nd because it's what I know. And that's the OSR thing, and OSR means Old School Renaissance for those, or Old School Rules, depending on how you look at it. And OSR is basically it's a movement amongst old school gamers, people like me who are like almost 40, that still want to play by these old rules of stat blocks and you know, a little looser, less rules heavy, which is funny because I used to think that, wow, this game has a lot of rules. But ultimately, your role-playing game is whatever, the main rules to have fun. So who cares what you're doing? And a lot of older role-playing games, really good examples like Palladium, which I really enjoyed, but you had to house rule it to make it work right in some cases because they couldn't give you everything. It's a little cheaper now because you can get all kinds of rules and stuff that you need because of the e-publications, websites. See, in the old days, so you had to go to the store and buy a book. When I think for you youngins out there, it's one of these suckers. It's it's only got so many pages. It has no hyperlinks in it. It's got some kick-ass art, right? You can see that, hopefully. I'm not even going to try to edit this. And then, that's all I got. That's all you have. And the rest, they have to go up here and work your imagination. If you can buy some books at the library, or buy some books at the store, go to the library, check out books, which I did. You can never check out role-playing game books, because anybody from that generation knows what happened when role-playing game books got to libraries. They were stolen. And I bet a lot of you guys collecting the older game books. In fact, I actually have a book in my collection, like another copy of Monster Man that found its way in my collection. It's an old Spokane library book, so sorry, I didn't steal it, just so you know. My original Fiend Folio was stolen as well, and when I was about 18 by some asshole I was a roommate with, and Chris, if you're watching this, you're an asshole. I would do it again for doing what you did, you piece of shit. But ironically, another guy named Chris gave me this when he found I was doing Blackout Games and selling stuff. He's getting rid of some of his stuff, and he was super awesome, and he gave me a nearly pristine copy of Fiend Folio. It even smells old. And that's fantastic. And it is a really nice thing of him to do. And I was going to sell it, but I couldn't do it. I got some other old books that I'll totally sell because I have them in PDF or whatever. This book, man, this my first monster book. I'm not getting rid of this. I've used Fiend Folio for all kinds of stuff. I've used it for Warhammer games. I've used it for Spelljammer games. I've used it in Cyberpunk, actually. Now my old Cyberpunk players are probably going, what the fuck is that? What do you mean you use it in Cyberpunk? But there's so many things you can use from this book, and if you can find it, like if you can buy a legit copy via PDF, or even there's the remake that came out, that I believe it was a WotC book. Was it a WotC book? Let's see here. Fiend Folio, Dungeons & Dragons logo. Yeah, so Eric Mona was on that. Oh, the guy that did Pathfinder and Paizo. Whole team of people on that one. Yeah, my buddy Raven's art's in there. It's really neat. So Ben Templesmith's art. Wow, really? Ben Templesmith? Huh. I didn't know he did D&D art, but really, Ben Templesmith's awesome. If you've ever seen his stuff before, I highly recommend it. Comic book artist. So yeah, this is pretty neat, and that came out 2003, which to me is new, right? 2003 was like what, 2 years ago, right? It's 2 years ago. Let's see here. Yeah, that's my stepdaughter. That was me waving her off. It's like, don't bother me. This is going on YouTube. So, hi. Now she's doing a dance. I would show you to embarrass her. So, because you work from home, you gotta play by the home rules, which includes teenagers. Yeah, so, okay, but yeah, anyway, looking through all this stuff, she's still dancing, she's still distracting me. I think I'll keep this in while I edit, right? So, like, what the hell? We'll have to get her on one of these shows because you see her art. It's amazing. Some of you guys might have seen the gelatinous cube she did, the monster shaming stuff. It's pretty cool. So anyway, there's like reviews, stuff like that, but I don't care about reviews about Fiend Folio. Fiend Folio is one of the greatest role-playing books ever made, and if you can get your hands on it, do. In any way you can, legit PDF, finding it at a garage sale, stealing it from me. I don't recommend that. And yeah, so I definitely won't loan it out. Sorry guys. And And also, on a totally unrelated note, if you want monster ideas and stuff, I can't recommend Glimmer Rats enough. The reason why I use Glimmer Rats as my mouse pad is because of an ordering screw up. I got 2 of them, and which is cool. I had to send one back, and it was sent back again to me. But look at this beautiful art.
So beautiful.
See, like, so you can see it from there, and she's like, it's so beautiful. You can't even. Something fell out of my book. I don't know what it is. It could be a treasure map. But the artist, Mark Harrison, does a fantastic job. And it's written by my favorite comic book artist, and I'm sure he hates any kind of praise, Gordon Rennie. But you know what? Fuck you, Gordon. You're a great writer, and I love your shit. So this is a great book, though. If you can find it, it's produced by Venture and Dark Horse in the States. And I actually would pay probably good money for a legit, like, Rebellion 2000 AD copy, which would really just mean it's a different logo down here. So, but yeah, it's about dudes that fight guys in like a sort of the Mist parallel reality. They're all a bunch of condemned criminals and everything like that who are sent there to. So it's like Dirty Dozen meets the Mist, except they're going into the Mist into another dimension to fight these horrifying creatures. And spoiler alert, they all die. So, Fiend Folio, near and dear to my heart. Lexi, you're making a lot of noise, and I'm sure it's picking up. She's probably getting a burrito. Are you getting a burrito?
No, but frozen fruit is really cold.
And it's really good for you, kids. Don't forget, frozen fruit is really, really good for you. Anyway, so that's it for this episode of Black Goat TV. I have no idea what episode number this is. 4? 5? 3.5? I don't know. Do you know? She doesn't know. You know.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
That's right. And on that note, I wish you guys all a good day, good time, no bear attacks, and game the hell on.
The credit sequence is the one that I like the most. It has the most squirrels. I like squirrels. Alright, so I'm done? I have no idea. What's going on? Who am I? Meow, 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 meow.